Hi, this is Sam here at Rick Jensen's Pianos with a Cristofori Baby Grand built in China in around 2008, I believe, by Samick. It certainly looks a lot like many other Samick Baby Grands I've worked on in the past, judging by the furniture style and the pedal shape. It's a piano which is really gorgeous, I should say. This has a polished mahogany finish, which I encourage you to check out more looking at the picture slideshow to the right of this video. My colleagues do a beautiful job buffing and polishing the finish to make it look as close to being like new as possible. There are some dents and other imperfections that had to be touched up, but overall it's a really gorgeous piece of furniture. This very rich, not exactly brown, not exactly red, sort of right in between stain of mahogany with a vivid vertical grain here. I'm not as particular about finish myself as a pianist, but I like this vertical grain whenever I see it, especially in mahogany finished pianos. Most manufacturers oriented horizontally, but the vertical is a nice change of pace. A very striking piece of furniture. In addition to being a really satisfying musical instrument to play, my colleague Jeremy did a really good job regulating this, it has a very smooth and responsive touch. I felt completely in control, trying to get different subtleties out of soft playing. This piano really delivered that. I will say it's a little on the bright side, and if you play it loudly, you'll get a big, bold, bright, brilliant sound. But as I said, touch is quite subtle and controllable, and if you play softly, you can get a very nice, warm, sort of darker sound. So I'll rate the tone a 6 on a scale from 1 to 10, from mellow to bright. The touch, I would say it's distinctly firm. I'll call it a 6 on a scale from 1 to 10 also. On a scale from 1 to 10, from light to firm, on a scale from 1 to 10. There's more than the average amount of resistance in the keys. 5 would be the average, so that's just a neutrally weighted medium touch. 6 is a bit firmer, and that's what this piano is. I think it compares quite favorably to other brands of piano, which are often found in schools where students have to take their lessons and potentially do recitals for their teachers. A lot of schools have all Steinway products, including the Boston piano, made by Kawai according to Steinway's design. Those two brands, in my opinion, tend to have a firmer touch. And in any case, a lot of teachers just teach on Kawai grands, the original Kawai grands made in Japan by them. And those likewise tend to have a firm touch more often than not. So if you're a student in that situation, and especially if your teacher has instructed you to obtain a piano with a firmer touch, I think you'll be in really good shape practicing on this at home. It's a good preparation for the more massive feel of a piano you might have to play in school. And contrariwise, nothing is more terrifying than practicing on a light touch piano at home and being unprepared in front of the teacher in a lesson. So definitely strongly recommended if that's your situation. Helps build strength in the fingers. One thing I forgot to mention about the finish or the case, the fall board comes built in from the factory with a hydraulic on the left that slows its motion. It's a slow motion fall board. So if it accidentally gets knocked closed, no one's fingers will be trapped underneath the closing fall board, which is a problem on older pianos. Newer pianos tend to have it, and this one, pretty slow. It is moving slowly, so I know parents of children are very concerned about that. Rest assured, this piano has it. It also has its original duet bench, likewise gorgeous. Buffed and polished, opens up to store music. It even has its original key cover, which I find on my piano, it actually does help to keep dust out from getting in between the keys, underneath the keys. So previous owner kept that with the piano, and of course it matches perfectly. And of course, like everything else we sell, it has a 10-year warranty, all parts, labor, and 100% lifetime trade-up guarantee. Just please make sure you have it in tune twice a year by a professional technician, and then you keep it in a moderate, stable humidity. That's important for the maintenance of any piano, no matter the brand or size or where it's made. And if you do that, you can come back in the future, at any point in the future, and trade this piano in precisely for its instrument sales price. That's what we mean by 100% lifetime trade-up guarantee. And we'll often get some of these more affordable baby grands back in on trade from people who are just getting started in the world of pianos, especially grands. It's well regulated. Teachers send their students here knowing that we regulate our pianos, and it gets new students started on the right track. And then, as the student continues to practice and improve, the teacher may recommend later on a larger piano of another brand that's more premium. Once, in the teacher's opinion, the student has earned a chance to play that. We often get pianos just like this back in on trade from customers who are students who are making progress. And it's encouraging to see that. We see that pretty often because the pianos are doing their job and help people improve. So this piano can do that for you. Please stop by, try it out for yourself. You're welcome to play it along with anything else in our inventory. But if you can't make it, you can always give us a phone call or send us an email if you have any questions. Thanks.